Hey, everybody. Welcome back to EdPath Coach. Thanks for joining me today for my weekly Wednesday Facebook Live. Today's topic is a great one as you are starting to think about planning for next school year. I just want a quick reminder that if you haven't checked out my new Facebook page, edpathcoach.com, it is live. Lots of information over there, including the 12 questions to ask your team right now to get them unstuck and excited about exploring their educational path. I'll put the download link below after we're done today. You can also find that right on my website, edpathcoach.com. Last week, we talked about my favorite free online career counseling resources. Those videos are available at my new YouTube channel at EdPath Coach. You also can find them on my Facebook page, but check out the YouTube channel for it all in one place in an easy to access manner. So today we're going to dive into the essential strategies for high school students and their parents to be prepared for next school year. So if you are a parent of a high school student, this is for you. If you are not a parent, maybe your child is a young adult transfer student, there's still some good nuggets in here as your child is thinking about planning for what comes next. So I hope you'll stick around and you'll get something out of this as well. So we are going to demystify what your teenager should be doing right now to plan for next school year. And if you haven't, so what normally happens around this time of year is you'll get an email, you might get a text message, a phone call that from your schools, your high school's counseling department, letting you know that scheduling has started for next school year. And it feels like, woof, it's January. We already have to think about next school year. Yeah, when you work in high school world, the planning for next school year starts in like November for the following school year. So schools are in that mode. So they're sending out all that information to you and your teenager about what classes are available for next year, what your student might want to take, when they're going to be meeting with their school counselor. It can feel like a lot, especially if your child goes to a large high school where there's lots and lots of course offerings. But this is very important because the number one thing that colleges look at in the college admissions process is the strength of schedule. So is your student taking the most challenging classes available to them? And then if they are, or they're not, are they doing well in the classes that they're taking? So it's a twofold process. Are they taking the most challenging classes available to them? And then the second piece is, are they doing well in those classes? So it's always a balancing act. Students want to take the most challenging classes available, but they also want to take the ones that they can handle within their schedule and their larger context of other responsibilities that they might have. So you might have choices of AP classes, international baccalaureate classes, dual credit classes, honors classes, elective classes, career classes. There's so many wonderful opportunities at most high schools now to help students explore careers and help them prepare for college. So one thing you want to think about when you're thinking about what classes you want to take is what you might want to major in college. So if you know that you really are going to apply to an engineering school, then you definitely want to take the highest level math that's available to you. That would be calculus, pre-calculus. But if you're thinking, I'm going to go to school for nursing or to be an elementary education teacher, then calculus might not be what you need. You could probably take AP statistics. So that's one way to help you make up your mind about what classes you want to take. And you also want to think about what you need to be prepared no matter what you might want to major in. So that might be, I always recommend to students that everybody take a math class, which I know is not always popular with teenagers, but pretty much no matter what you decide to do after high school, there will be some kind of a math class involved as you are moving through that program. This can be an electrician apprenticeship program, elementary education, you have to take a math class, dance, there's a math class that's required because it's liberal arts. So everybody should take math, everybody should take English, everybody should take science, social studies, and I also recommend a world language all 4 years of high school. Some colleges will require you to take a world language, and keeping that skill up is really going to make your life a lot simpler and easier when you get to college. And if you don't use it in college, you still have a better understanding of that language that might come up and be helpful in a career that you decide to go into. So also a reminder that senior year is not the time to slack off. You are gearing up to go off to college or an educational path of your choice, and that's going to be more rigorous than what you're doing in high school. So you want to make sure that you are continuing to strengthen those skills of learning, writing, reading, and that means taking a challenging schedule senior year. So in summary, as you're deciding what classes to take, you want to take the most challenging classes that are available to you and that you can handle. That's an important second part because we still want to prioritize your emotional wellness and health in high school because you have to balance those extracurricular activities, which we're going to talk about in a minute. You want to take classes that you think might align with what you want to do after high school to help either you try that out or to make sure that you're prepared for the kinds of classes that you will take when you graduate. And then you want to make sure that you are thinking about having a strong college prep curriculum. So parents, make sure you sit down with your students and go through all of that information with them so they're not overwhelmed. They should have a meeting with their school counselor to go over their classes for next year. This is a really important meeting. It's important because one, you want to get to know your school counselor. They are the person that's going to fill out your college application, extra school report, and possibly have to write a counselor recommendation for you. They also are the ones that know the most about graduation requirements. They're the ones that can make sure that you are taking everything you need in order to graduate on time and with the diploma type that you want to graduate with. So make sure you figure out when your school appointment is with your school counselor, you go on time, you're prepared, you've looked at all the information first, you have your questions ready to go. So that's the biggest thing probably right now to be preparing for a successful next school year is to make sure you're engaging with your scheduling material and making good choices there. The second thing I encourage students to do right now and their parents is to look at their transcript. Their transcript should have their first semester grades on it now, and it tells a story of what you've done in high school. If you're a freshman, you can see your first semester grades. You can see what your GPA is starting out with, see if there's any 8th grade classes that you transferred in and how those are looking. If you're a sophomore, you now have 3 semesters of grades on your transcripts, and if you're a junior, you have 5. So you can see if you're trending upwards with your grades, maybe you've had a dip, and now it's a chance to course correct. It's a chance to set goals for yourself. It's also a chance for you to make sure there's no errors on your transcript. Human beings are behind who enters in information on transcripts, and mistakes do happen. There's also computer programs that are involved in entering transcripts and sending them, between high schools and how stuff gets coded. So a little misclick of a button can happen and something might be wrong on your transcript. So you want to make sure that you really look and make sure everything that's on there is supposed to be on there. You're getting credit for everything. If you have an honors class, it's coded that way. Weighted GPA is correct. If you have a weighted GPA, your school counselor should give you a copy of your transcript during your scheduling meeting. If that doesn't happen, then please make sure you ask for a copy so that you can look at it with your parent, or a student can look at it with a parent. Either way, you guys both get your eyes on it. It's a very important document. It's the most important thing that colleges are going to look at in the college admissions process. And set a goal. How is your GPA looking? Do you have a balanced load of classes? Set a goal for yourself for this semester. If you're a junior, this is the last set of grades that some colleges are going to see. So it's important that you do your best to have your grades be as strong as possible for next year. Another thing that you can be planning for is how you can build your resume or your activities list. Colleges in this area, it's a part of what they consider on your application. They want to see that you are involved in more than just classwork, that you also have activities that you're involved in, and they look for quality over quantity. So they don't want to see you involved in 15 things and you go maybe every once in a while, but you're not really engaging in any of those activities. Colleges want to see that you have quality involvement. Quality means that you are engaged, you're participating, you've made some kind of contribution. Perhaps you're a club president or a secretary, you've organized a fundraiser, you put together a party for people. Anything that shows where you've gone above and beyond just being a simple member of a team, a club, your church group. And as a reminder, anything that you do outside of class counts on your activities list. I think sometimes students think, oh, well, I babysit my brothers, I don't have time to do anything, or all I do is work. Both of those things count. You have to take care of your siblings. That is a huge responsibility that your parents are entrusting you with. You have to work in order to pay your own gas and cell phone bill. That's a lot of responsibility that you're demonstrating to colleges. So don't sell yourself short. The only things that don't count on an activities list would be like watching Netflix, that doesn't count. But anything that's a substantive activity that you're doing outside of sitting in class and doing your homework counts as an activity. So now's the time to think about, what have you been involved in? What have you done first semester? What are you doing right now? And then thinking about what you might want to prepare to do next year. There'll be club elections, there'll be class president races, there'll be call outs for sports teams for next year's coming up. You know, it's only January, but all of these things will come up so much faster than we expect. So now is the time where you can think about, yes, I really want to continue with X, Y, or Z, or no, I want to try something else, and set those goals. Because we all know if we don't set a goal, we don't think about something with intentionality, oftentimes it doesn't happen, because before we know it, it's June and we missed all of those club call outs and we're not have anything that we're going to be ready to be involved in the fall. You also want to think about how you can use your summer productively. So this might be getting a job, this might be exploring some career interest you have. Really, again, anything that's an intentional use of your time over the summer is a good way to use it. Maybe you have to work because, again, you need to pay your gas, you need to pay your cell phone. That's great. Showing responsibility, time management, somebody else is entrusting you to do things and they're paying you for it. All of that looks great on a college application. Maybe you want to explore your interest of working with animals. And so you're going to volunteer at the Humane Society. Again, great. Anything that you can do that's going to help you gain some responsibility, show some time management skills, and also help you explore what you possibly might be interested in for a career. It's a great use of time for the summer. Right now, you can also start thinking about testing. So standardized testing, especially if you're a sophomore or older. If you are in the higher level math class this year, so that would be Algebra 2 or above, taking a test over the summer can be a good use of time because the highest level of math that they have on these tests is Algebra 2. So taking the test while that math is fresh in your mind is going to ensure that you have the highest score on your math with the least amount of prep work required. I recommend everybody take a practice test, an ACT and an SAT, see which one you like, see which one you do better on. I'm going to be doing another video about my favorite resources for standardized test prep and standardized test studying. How do you know? But for now, think about one or the other. Try both and think about scheduling for the summer if that is the situation that makes sense for you. And parents, now would be a good time to start reading about financial aid options. I'm going to have another video coming up about my favorite resources for that. But for right now, familiarizing yourself with what you'll need to do and the available resources would be a good place to start. And don't freak out about everything you're seeing about the new FAFSA. By the time everybody here on this video is filling out the FAFSA, a lot of those kinks will be ironed out and the process is going to be so much easier than it has been in the past. So those are my 4 things to think about, 5 things really to think about as you are planning for next year to ensure a successful high school year. 1 is thinking critically about what classes you're going to take next year. 2 is looking at your transcript and thinking about what goals you might set and making sure there's no errors on it. 3 is thinking about your activities list or resume and how you can strengthen that as you look ahead to next school year. 4 would be to think about how you can use your summer productively. And then 5 is for parents to start thinking about financial aid, information, start slowly digesting that. So it's not all brand new information when your student is a senior. So that is a wrap on today's Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember that you can get the 12 questions to ask your team right now to help them get unstuck below or on my website, edpathcoach.com. Let me know how it's going. I would love to engage and hear how things are going for you. And let's make this journey joyful and transformative for our children. Thank you for being here with me today. I can't wait to see the amazing paths that your children will embark on. And I hope you stay tuned for more resources, skills, and community here at EdPath Coach. All my best until next time.